Okay, hello, my name is Karl Dillon. I'm 65 years old. I grew up in Burt's Corner on a 250-acre partly wooded farm. I now own 6 acres of that land. I worked at the local poultry farm for over 40 years, but at this time in my life I have to step out into the public spotlight. It is difficult for me, but necessary, because I must ask everyone in this community, the city of Fredericton and beyond, for assistance. There's a project that I have been obsessed with for a very long time. I need eyes, ears, and voices to help me spread the word, which will hopefully ultimately get me to my goal. You see, in 1998 I discovered something naturally special on our property, something so beautiful, so original, so exciting, and alluring to my senses that it set me on a journey, an obsession, a mission to create a spectacular, one-of-a-kind display of amazing naturally carved stone art sculptures. I used to think of it as a museum, but now envision it as a massive, magnificent, one-of-a-kind gallery that will be like no other. The New Brunswick Eroded Stone Art Sculpture Collection, each one with its own personality, its own signature, and each one breathtaking. Handheld stones to large boulders. I spent years contacting government representatives and all sorts of other possible avenues to try and find someone to help me with my dream project. Countless phone calls and emails, starting with provincial geologists, even an email to the Prime Minister's office that trickled down through the ranks, local government representatives, ministers and MLAs, MPs, and countless tourism representatives that just didn't get it. Even local media to this day still ignore me. 25 years later, and here I am, still trying. Over the many years, I would get excited and then depressed. Ups and downs, send more emails, make more calls, and then give it up for a while. Then get a second wind and start again. But now, because of my current personal situation, I've hit the wall. And this will be my final battle. It is now or never. My current financial situation leaves me in a position where I may be forced to sell my home. And when that happens, my dream opportunity will be lost. I cannot take my stone art collection with me. Everyone loves stone sculpture. And when it is so random, unique, and naturally created, it is even more appealing. The biggest obstacle that has blocked most positive responses and offers of help is that elephant in the room. Watercourse law violations. I collected most of the stones in my collection back when the property still all belonged to my family, before it was sold. And there are still many large specimens on my 6 acres that I do not have the equipment to remove. These are stones that have been carved by water and time, but very few eroded stones are found in an actual brook. Fast-running water makes stones round like river rocks. All of these stones were found in the woods away from the brook. All these stones were created by spring runoff, but are not all near water at present. Many are found high and dry, packed tightly in dry earth with trees growing on top of them, roots growing around and even through the stone. Check the photos in my Eroded Dreams video. You'll see large stones peeking out of the solid ground, causing you to desperately want to discover what the rest of the stone looks like. They were carved decades ago and then had to be buried for a few more decades, or even perhaps centuries. Many have moss growing on all the tops of them. When I found my first stone, I became addicted to them. I wanted to share them with everyone. I couldn't help myself. Then it became a mission to save them from destruction when the rest of our property was set to be sold, so woodcutting machinery wouldn't destroy them. Some were damaged, many were run over and disappeared in the mud. To me, these stone sculptures are like ancient artifacts, because they represent the effects of time on a physical object. I also have a plan for this project to help fund itself and reimburse at least some of any investor's initial capital, as well as give it continuous advertising right from the get-go. I want to film the gallery construction and stone preparation as a documentary series from conception to completion, starring yours truly and also hopefully a well-known Canadian celebrity, with possibly other weekly Canadian guest celebrities as well that are all musicians, artists, and art lovers. Do you realize the free tourism advertising reach of a tourist attraction that people all over the world are watching weekly being built and then can actually visit? Adding one more unique attraction to the city and province's tourism must-see list is a good long-term thing. but documenting its construction and development puts it on the world tourism news stage right from the get-go for a whole year and then beyond. All of these years, I have been seen as an entrepreneurial leper because I'm a visionary without a business degree, no investors, and empty pockets. I cannot even attempt to raise funds or seek investors because I need the government's crown approval to use these stones in this project. Everyone I contact for help runs away from me because I am considered a criminal. If that's the case, then just go ahead and charge me. But I will have to go to prison for any alleged crimes because I barely have food in my fridge and there's an angry mob of bill collectors after me and my family daily. Or you could, instead of fining me for rescuing a valuable art commodity, perhaps help me create substantial future economic prosperity through tourism dollars for the city of Fredericton and beyond. I promise you all that my project will make international tourism headline news for 2 years and free advertising as well. Even a poor New Brunswick citizen with a possibly good tourism idea should at least be able to share it with someone who actually has the power to possibly make it happen, or at least give the province's tourism-based business owners the chance to hear it for themselves. Otherwise, my dream idea ends up in the paper shredder or is deleted, and anyone who might benefit from it never even knew it existed. I'm asking everyone who reads this to share this message. Send it far and wide so it will help me find an investor, a partner. It must be someone who is as passionate about the stone art as I am, and of course also wants to help me finance it. I can't do any of it alone. I need help. And if I am forced to sell my home, someone else will inherit all of my hard work all these years. I cannot sleep lately because I can't stop thinking about this dream. The bottom line to all of this rambling is to request a public venue to ramble some more, to ensure I reach a larger audience than just YouTube. Perhaps someone could help me organize an interview, press conference, or speaking engagement. Perhaps, better yet, would be a dinner venue for me to speak to tourism business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors, and it could be used to raise money for food banks. My plan also includes a smaller spin-off film series opportunity, YouTube, both during and after construction, perpetual, from which funds could be placed in a trust to be used to provide long-term surplus benefits for much-needed services such as hospitals, food banks, and homeless shelters. And finally, I would also like to have someone help me purchase the land that was my father's farm and turn it into a community walking park. The current subdivision of this property, with dozens of septic systems and wells, all on a downhill slope, covered with 20 large natural springs and many small ones, will contaminate the water table on this property, which all drains into the brook running 50 feet past my well. I have been transparent here about my previous actions, but also expect other parties involved in my backyard to do the same. A tourism representative that sat at my table 5 years ago stated, "I don't think you should have these stones," and in response I related to her what I had witnessed years earlier when a lumber company cleared 200 acres of trees behind my property. This is not an accusation. This is a true account of what my eyes actually saw. And I do have relatives and neighbors as well who are not blind. All of the trees were cut on 200 acres completely, leaving only the cedars next to 2 brooks. Trees were harvested on top of and around at least 20 large natural springs and many small ones as well. Skidders traveled all through the wet areas where water drains away from them, with wheel ruts causing massive erosion that altered water runoff directions. Huge grapples dragged loads of full-length harvested trees all through these flooded spring areas, and also hauled trees across 2 brooks without any culverts. Sinking halfway up their tires, it created a river of mud 400 yards long and 30 feet wide. This altered brook number 2's direction, causing spring runoff to detour into this skidder track to join brook number 1, 100 yards away. The skidder continued across brook number 1 and then another 200 yards to where logs were processed. The spring that had fed our farm for years, which is above this rut, then diverted back to brook number 1, which previously it used to just run straight into the brook. All of the rest of that summer and fall, you could not cross that river of mud. You would sink out of sight, and it smelled like a manure pile from decades of deer feces from whitetails wintering here. You could not walk on it until the following summer, after the August sun had baked it dry. No water ran from brook number 2 until the following summer. The water in brook number 1 ran black with mud for at least a week, and that brook runs down through my property 50 feet from my well. All the trees were cut just feet from the brook edges, which contributed to most of the remaining ones being uprooted from windstorms and hurricanes since then. All of this has caused additional massive continuous erosion. To this, my swear on a Bible, honest truth, what I had witnessed, the tourism lady replied, "But you're the only one that saw that." Yes, lady. Indeed, I did. That is apparently the amount of authority that a watercourse permit possesses to protect erosion and water quality. So the bottom line is I need someone to invest in my dream, and in order to proceed I also require special written Crown authorization to use these stones in my project. I'm not permitted to speak with the powers that be to request it or even discuss it. You can't just walk into Natural Resources and get this permit because it doesn't exist. That's why it has to be a special Crown authorization from either the Premier or the Prime Minister, or preferably both. I recently sent another email to the Premier's office, one of many over the years, and once again was referred to the Tourism Department, who told me quite flatly I could not go any further with my plans. They wouldn't even listen to my story or discuss it. I want everyone to go to the New Brunswick Tourism website and read their mandate in full. Count the adjectives in the text. Feel the mood and emphasis on collaboration and inclusion. Again, this is just a little piece I put on the bottom here. It's just something I'd written a while back, and I just wanted to add it here. This is my prayer for 2024. Dear Lord, thank you for keeping us all safe and healthy. As we begin another year, I'm already yearning for those first new green leaves of spring. Thank you for blessing us with new and interesting natural forest subjects to enjoy. This video gig of mine has kept my spirit going during difficult personal times. That's my YouTube channel, Filming Wildlife. With all the many years behind us, some filled with a roller coaster of emotions, from nightmares to dreams of grandeur, I am now left just a tired old man. Past mistakes in my life that I wish I could change, personal family issues, I was always a loner. I never belonged to any local groups, was never involved in any public community programs, never volunteered for anything. I just remember working a lot, bills, and enjoying our quiet, private time. I have nothing of lasting value to leave this community when I am gone from this earth, except for this legacy that I really hope to. I believe that my discovering these creations of yours was a true miracle, that they were meant to be seen by others. I believe it was my calling of sort, but I can't do it alone. So please send me an angel. Meanwhile, I will try to keep the faith. Amen. So with a fresh, exciting future vision, a keen artistic eye, true passion, heart, and soul for something amazingly, naturally beautiful, all these long years pounding my fists on stone in hope that someone else will see what I see and catch this fever. Experiencing the preciousness that these rare, random miracles of creation are, that rush of discovery, many of these stones were destroyed and far more are still just buried here awaiting their unknown fate. To me, they are precious enough to not be ignored any longer or destroyed. While my body is still moving and drawing breath, I have to try and save them from destruction one last time. And when you visit my channel, NBMooselovers, if you choose to do so, please check out my video, My Magnificent Journey, and please view the entire video. Most viewers don't. Sure, at 11 minutes and 30 seconds is a bit long and has 4 musical audio tracks and a couple of kitties, but I consider this video my masterpiece summary of my best wildlife footage and editing skill, and I love it. I never get tired of it. Never get tired of viewing it. I see it as a perfect video commercial for New Brunswick wildlife tourism. This video best describes how I now see all living creatures. They are also intricate, beautiful, and intelligent. I've discovered the tiniest of beings to the largest. Once insignificant creatures I never gave a passing glance to in the past now captivate me. And they are all connected to each other, just devoting their life's duty to their young and trying to survive difficult environments just like the rest of us. I hope you check it out and enjoy it. I love all wildlife, but the majestic New Brunswick moose is my passion, and yet sadly remains another wasted natural tourism resource here in our province. The only moose that the New Brunswick government is interested in is a dead moose. License fees. This has to change. A living, breathing moose is a tourist industry gold mine. Wake up, people. All of my heart and soul is embedded in my above proposed art project, but I also have another one waiting in the wings, hopefully. And I think that I will call this new tourist destination the Big, Black, and Beautiful Moose Observatory. And this one could be operational by late spring with minimal investment. See, I do need more rambling room. Please help me obtain it. Karl Dillon.